Huh.
Okay, guys, we're rolling.
Hey,
Good.
welcome to Keys for Home. What are we on? Episode
Eight.
or
Season
series
3,
3?
episode 8 today.
Yeah.
Why don't we, you know what, for everyone listening, we're going to take your advice for you screaming at the screen. For the love of God, the three of you, why don't you track it instead of asking?
It's become our shtick now.
We're going to have to post a disclaimer right out of the bat in the first
Get it
minute.
together.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
What's going on in everyone's world? I'll tell you what's going on in my world. All right. So since the last time we spoke, remember we do this broadcast and then we post the next Monday. So a lot can happen.
yeah.
So what's happened since the last time we spoke? So basically last week, interest rates were the lowest we've seen. Can you hear me all right?
That's better.
Interest rates were the lowest they've been in 3 years. What does that mean for people? So conventional mortgages were in the high fives. FHAs were in the mid fives. And I'm not breaking any rules there. No reason for the disclaimer there. That's just kind of where they were on a national average. We saw a massive uptick in applications. I am drowning in applications. But we went to war on Friday and Saturday. And that scared the markets a little bit, but a lot.
Yeah.
Ironically, on Friday, going into that weekend before the war, I'm a veteran. I was in the Air Force for 24 years, and we've all been watching the climate. If you believe that President Trump was going to give the Iranians 10 days to make a decision, you're not current. You're not understanding what's going on. Everyone knew this guy, our president, was going to act, whether you agree or disagree with it. Yeah. And I think the market started to react on Friday with that. By Friday, we'd lost all those gains. By Saturday, we were, for the news says, at war. We're not. It is an event going on. But Monday and Tuesday really took a hit. And as you know, we record this a couple days before the following week that you see it. So we're starting to see some rebound, but I've got a lot. One of the jokes I say when I talk to people now in group settings is, hey, if the news is talking about it, it's too late in the cycle of things.
Yep.
So they've got a bunch of applications that people want to take advantage of, but rates kind of jumped back up into the sixes. So expectations, unfortunately, are set, by our devices and by the news, which, but anyway, I'm working through all that. So it's a timing thing. What else do I want to tell you? Jennifer can probably tell us a little bit about in a second. Why don't you tell us a little bit about real estate, what's going on in the real estate world? I heard that there's you're an employer. Jennifer works for Benchmark, absolutely amazing company. Philip Cantrell is the leader of their company, and he just does the most amazing weekly reviews for them. Jennifer will sometimes, call and debrief me and kind of tell me what that's going on. I know there's some big news coming up with Benchmark, or that later, is it this week or next week? Do you have any clue what that is?
So we got an email that said that we have a Tuesday, basically all call at 10 a.m. And of course, I have a meeting with a builders association, 8:30 to 9:30 that day. So I've got to finagle that. So I'm not sure. I could guess, but real estate has been a lifeboat in a hurricane for a few years now. So there's some I'm interested to see what it is. I will tell you, when you're talking about the news and rates and the stock market, I have a very good friend who's a financial planner, and one of Tim's best friends is a financial planner too. And I was talking to her, and I'm like, what's going on with you this week? Because we hadn't talked for a minute, so we were catching up. She's like, when you see the stock market drop and your holdings are dropping, especially in a situation like this, where it's very unlikely that it's going to be a long-term situation, do not jump out, because the people with deep pockets are just sitting on the side waiting to buy your shares when that has dropped, and they're like, thank you very much, essentially. So if you don't need to sell for a financial reason right now, this is like, do not panic, do not sell. Just hold and see, because it should not be a long-term thing. tightening the Strait of Hormuz. That's very impactful on finances. And a lot of that is obviously tied to rates. And, when the real estate industry is moving, then all the industries are moving. And I would like to see this something grease the wheels just a little bit to get things going. And we were starting to see that, and the spring turn of the calendar is starting to see that. Nashville doesn't necessarily have the winter slowdown that a lot of the other colder areas do. But it was frustrating because we were starting to see a little more pop of activity of buyers and sellers. And now it's kind of paused again. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. I just want to do my job and work, and it's hard right now. Mark, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of piggyback off of what both of you guys are saying. With the jobs report came out today for February, and the economy only produced 92,000 jobs, far below what was expected, and as a result, the market is taking it pretty hard. I'm not sure what's going on. I think the catalyst is getting Jerome Powell out of this Fed, and getting the new guy. I can't remember his name offhand. Getting him in place, and Jerome Powell, in my opinion, has been one of the biggest problems that we've had with the affordability and growth potential of this economy. That's my opinion. I don't have, it may be, I'm not basing it off of facts other than what I've heard. And so that's sorry about that. So it's just historically, the articles I've read has been that he's slow to move and slow to react. And there's articles on that. So that's
what's stronger hand in this big.
What's that?
Yeah.
I said
we need a stronger hand on the till when we're in such a chaotic climate. The other thing, really quick, before you jump into the other thing you've seen, you said about affordability. Mm-hmm. And, people are like, God, when are these housing prices going to go down? I'm like, do you want them to? They're like, what? Of course I do. I said, do you? So you both own homes, right?
Yeah.
You want to lose 50 to 100,000 in equity to correct this stupidity of the run up from 20 and 21? No. So what we're seeing is, instead of like historically 3% escalation a year ish, Williamson County since 2014, when I've been doing it, it would run more like 7 to 10% per year. So what we're seeing now is like a 1 to 3 in a lot of cases. And so if you bought your house just a few years ago and you're needing to sell, it's very hard, but you're breaking even, hopefully, in most cases, and not having to bring things to the table. But we're making up for that 35% runoff. That's 10 years, 5 to 10 years of normal escalation.
Yeah. Yeah. This is where I went shopping yesterday. And I look for some things that make life easy, like everyone, in food. And I was flabbergasted. I was just shocked.
Your gas were flabbered?
Yeah. I was absolutely shocked at this. I was walking through a quote large warehouse box store that we all go to.
Yeah.
And I typically look for, I like the beef sirloin patties that are pre-made.
How much are they up to?
Yeah, it's just easy. It's easy to throw them on and cook them and not have to worry about making the actual hamburger. $35.99 for 10. $35.99 for an 85% 15 lean package of pre-made hamburgers.
Did you price the bulk, not patty? Did you go over to the butcher section?
Oh yeah, far less by
your time is money and your money is time, and that was one of the things I used to teach with the budget grocery shopping. So Tim likes breakfast sandwiches and burritos and all that. And every morning he takes one on his way to work. And those have gone up astronomically. And we buy them at a big box store too. So I'm fortunate that I work from home. So, and I love to cook. So I'm like, I'm going to make the viral breakfast burrito. It's 8 eggs and a cup of cottage cheese, and then a cup of cheese, and then whatever veg or protein you want. And so I made 36 of them last weekend in, an hour and a half, as, baking in the oven while I'm doing that thing. And it cost me what a box and a half would cost.
Why don't you send me that resume? Why don't you send me that recipe, and I'll do that, because I love the idea of some breakfast burritos, and you just gave me a huge idea. Number 2, you mentioned a financial advisor and financial planner. That would be a very good connection for me. I partner with those guys, especially for people that are that come in that may not be ready for that. Same purpose for what we do. So. I would be interested in that as well. The other thing that I'm seeing is I'm getting a sense that from the consultations that I've had, people are just hunkering down. They seem to be not. Maybe the war has something to do with it, but I think the job reports that came out today. While is not looking good. It's far less than what was expected, as I said before. And I don't hear a lot of people. I hate to be gloom, but it just doesn't seem like people are making decisions in their businesses as excitedly as they did before.
No, it feels like more counter moves on defense and offense. And the average person does not read the jobs reports or wait on those or know what it even means. But we all know what it feels like. We know what it feels like when we go to the grocery store and the gas pump, and that, in my situation, that I don't have clients beating down my doors the way I usually do, year round, and certainly at this time of year. And the number of people who are like, you know what, we think we're going to have to wait till next year.
I remember the second thing that I wanted to talk about. Unemployment rose to 4.4%.
Yeah.
So we have less jobs being produced. We have a rising unemployment rate, which tells you people are not making. Businesses are trimming fat and not hiring.
Yeah. Well, and Mark, there's a huge thing that's not tracked when you're talking about unemployment. And that's people like myself who are self-employed, who are not having the past sales, whether you're owning a storefront and you're the sole person in there, but you're just not having the sales. So essentially you have become unemployed because you're just paying your bills and you're not paying your salary. So that's not even tracked in unemployment, is all the gig workers who don't have gigs right now, or all the commission people who aren't having commission the way they would.
Well, and when you're trying to, I think this is a great time to dive into a deeper conversation about coaching.
Yeah.
But when all of these external factors that are coming at you are impacting your ability to get to where you want to go, how do you got to weather the storm? You got to find you. And I talk about this. I often lead a lot of clients, not lead, but guide. I guess guide and lead is the same thing.
Support.
At the end of the year, we have this tendency to spend a lot more money because one, it's the holiday season. Number two, we've worked hard all year long, and around that holiday season, October through the end of December, we start hearing we've done this all year long. Yeah, let's celebrate a little bit more. In old habits, you've spent all year long working to overcome old habits. And in a short period of time, because of the holidays, these old habits start creeping in. And what I guide a lot of my clients through is go on the defense. Go on. There's two prongs. There's a two-pronged approach to your finances. And I think a lot of times defenses, we've heard the phrase, defenses win championships. Well, it's the same kind of thing here. It's a two-pronged approach. You go on offense. Your offense is aggressively paying off debt, aggressively paying down your debt, and just being intentional, aggressive, and getting the debt out of your life. The second part of this is the part that I think people are losing sight of, and that's the defense. What I mean by that is you have to have a defense. If it's $35.99 for a package of pre-made hamburgers, then how much is your time worth? If I can go buy the same amount of hamburger for $15 to $18, and it takes me 15 minutes to smash some hamburgers, put it in a freezer bag, and that's your defense.
Yeah. That's what I tried to explain to my ex when I was a stay-at-home mom, is I wasn't bringing in money, but I was saving so much money for the household.
Yeah, and you're just gave me an amazing idea of, cook some stuff like the pre-made burritos. Put them in the freezer. Take 2 out, and your breakfast is made. I'm looking for different ways to better eat. Have a variety of eating.
So, Mark,
it might be a good place to introduce Jennifer's other podcast, Jennifer's Kitchen, where she goes through all of these things.
That's what I was going to say. No, people have asked me to start it again because of the economy. I used to teach budget meal planning and grocery shopping, and it's not going out couponing, Mark. Would you say that one of the reasons that people's food budget gets blown is because they have to unexpectedly eat out?
So,
I mean, does that happen? Like you're running and, oh my God, I'm going to pick up all of them. So when you go ahead.
No, it's all about convenience when life seems. I cannot say this enough. Oh my gosh, it's been a hard day. I'm going to stop by and get Chick-fil-A.
Right. So here's what you do on that. I was given $1,000 a month when my ex was making 6 figures. I was given $1,000 a month for a family of 6 for groceries, gas, copay. And this was from 2002 through 2012. So things were inexpensive, but that's still not a lot of money for that time period.
Not
right?
a lot of money.
So I would sit down, and every 2 weeks, he transferred the $1,000. I think he did 5. I can't remember if he got paid every 2 weeks, and so 500 or whatever. But I would sit down. It was pays on Tuesday, so on Sunday, a lot of times I would do my meal planning. And the first thing you do with your meal planning is you get your calendar.
Right.
What? I'm getting a cookbook. I'm meal planning. No, you're not. Because I had 4 kids who were in sports and this, that, and the other thing. And so on a night that we were going to have to get to the baseball field, or that there was an event at school, or someone had Girl Scouts and we had to stay late and my time was constrained, I put on what I called a lazy meal.
Yeah.
So lazy meal was when, if you're let's say that on Wednesday was going to be the lazy meal because we're going to church or something Wednesday night. So on Monday, I would make like baked chicken breast, risotto, or mashed potatoes or something like that, right? And then usually I tried to have a pork or a beef or something else on that Tuesday, so we're not chicken back to back. But I would put on 2 or 3 extra chicken breasts on Monday, so the cooking's happening at the same time the other meal is done, so I'm not taking more time. And then I cut that chicken breast up, and then on Wednesday, we're going to have a semi-homemade pot pie, or get a cream of chicken or cream of mushrooms. The cooked chicken I already did, some frozen veg, and put it over rice or noodles or put some biscuits on top. But it's ready. And here's the other thing too. Like if we had planned to do tacos on Thursday, but we want tacos on Tuesday, who cares? Because we still have the stuff to do it. So
Right.
I probably should do some more of those podcasts about meal planning because
You should.
I think yeah, I think you should. I want to just echo that meal planning to me is one of the most effective ways and one of the most important ways to make sure that you're cutting your grocery business bill down as much as possible. I'm not a big fan of meal prepping.
No, because then you're the same thing every night. And
I just don't see myself sitting in there cooking a whole bunch of meals and putting them in containers. And so I just, that doesn't work for me. I tried it and but meal planning is, I can tell you right now, Monday is hamburger night. Tuesday is leftovers. Wednesday is chicken, turkey, or some other protein. Thursday, Mexican or theme night. Friday is typically I might splurge and do something on my own. But Saturday is the one day that I absolutely love when it comes to cooking. Nothing beats putting on some music, going looking through a recipe that is difficult and takes time to make, and going through that and cooking and going to the store, getting all the ingredients, and sitting down and learning something. And then Sunday is typically leftovers again. So and I can plan out, in all seriousness, I'm not kidding, I can plan my meals for 6 months because I follow that plan.
But here's the thing, Mark, too. A lot of people, and I've just talked to people doing this. My daughter wants to make the recipe that she just saw on TikTok. And my God, we've spent $50 on the ingredients. So one of the things I talked about is don't try not to get ingredients that you're not going to use a lot. But like, let's say sour cream. It can get a little bit pricey. It is now. But if we're going to do baked potatoes, I want sour cream. But I don't want to let the rest of it go to waste. So now I've got sour cream because I bought it for the baked potatoes. So maybe I need to do some quesadillas that would use it, or I need to do turkey tetrazzini that would use it. Whatever it is, you want to try to use it again.
Also learn, I know we're talking about a lot about food, but learn how to preserve what is left over. I mean, there are things, I mean, we have all of these search utilities off these little square boxes in our hands. We also have AI. We also have search engines. Learn. For me, fruit is one of my favorite things. Learning how to preserve raspberries and blueberries. What are the best storage methods? Take some time and figure it out. But don't sit there and say, "Oh, I'm not doing." Groceries are expensive. You got, So I know there's actually a topic here that I really wanted to dive into. I know we've been on groceries quite a bit, but
no, you're good.
I want to talk about what coaching is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we often think that, at least in the space that I'm in, I'm a financial coach. I have niche areas that I focus on. A lot of it is individual, personal, financial, career coaching, and business to business coaching. And one of the things that I want to point out to what coaching is. Coaching is not about building a budget for you. That is not what coaching is. It's part of coaching, and it's a very small amount of coaching. And budgeting is a core principle to understand, and often the first place that you can look to generate some momentum. But what coaching is helping people find and discover what is important to them, and then putting a system in place for them to get there. It's also overcoming the obstacles that are keeping them from taking the steps to get to what is important to them. What was important to me in my life was getting out of debt, having no debt, having all of my money available to me to do what I wanted to do with. That was the most important thing to me, so that I could use those resources and use that money to help people, to spend and to save. And those were the principles. That is the principles behind coaching. Accountability is one of the most important features and functions of coaching. Helping people overcome the behaviors. For me in my life, I've mentioned this on this podcast many times. I built my debt. And so I had to dismantle my debt. And dismantling debt is not easy, but that was the most important thing for me. It was in my life. So for people listening, what is, and you have friends and peer pressures of doing this, ask yourself one simple question: what is the most important thing to you? And if you have a spouse, sit down with them and ask them that same question. Take 15 minutes, and when the kids are asleep, the house is quiet, the end of the day has gone, just talk to each other and ask each other, what is the most important thing to you when it comes to your finances and your career?
Guys, I have to interrupt you here. Mark, you're on to something you don't even know about. You've got to let me show you this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
You're going to start doing a podcast. Once Saturday, that's the day you love to cook. There it is. Cooking with Crater, sizzling financial tips and advice. You see it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I see it. That's fantastic.
Cooking with Crater. There it is. Look at that. It even looks like you. Check this. Got the financial, and you just stand there and do what you are, honestly, what you're doing with us right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, everyone's like, Lance, you should be in marketing. I'm not trying to blow my horn or anything like that. But Jennifer, do you agree? The guy, what you say, Mark, makes complete sense.
Yeah.
People will watch you cook, and you can talk about the things you do. And Jennifer, you too. I'm not trying to say we need to be in different careers, but we're all people of interest. There's no one in the world that meets Jennifer Weissman on my left right here and goes, God, I'll never remember her. Every single person remembers that woman. And no matter what it's for, it's not a bad thing. As long as she ingrains in their brain that she plays in the country, and she's going to go out and kick down some doors for you. And she does. Yeah. And Mark, everyone's going to know about you're so serious about finance that you cannot get serious about it. You're like, guys, everyone for listening, let's get serious, because you're serious and you love cooking. And our new economy is, we talk about the loss of jobs. We talk about the things moving around. Let's use some of the tools. So guess what, Lance? Jennifer, what am I going to say? I've always got great ideas, but what?
Execution.
I never execute.
I struggle. I struggle. Honestly, my struggle is getting everything set up and doing the actual video. I mean, I don't know why I struggle with it. Here's what I tell people. I usually, because Lance, I think you're on. I think there's a lot of things that I could do with video and podcasting that would resonate with people. I usually say to people, I have my master's degree. I have a master's degree in business, but an emphasis in entrepreneurship. And when I get started with ideas, it's absolutely, I'll tell you honestly, an entrepreneur's mind is, oh my God, is it difficult? Because it won't stop. The ideas will not stop for an hour, hour and a half. And what I usually tell people is, if I start with ideas, just start writing them down, because I'll go through idea after idea after idea. It's actually, sometimes it's a hindrance. And until I can sit and brainstorm for hours and just think about different options. And
you, baby. It's ADHD all day long. There it is. Already built your logo and popped it up there.
Too funny.
And typically, there's an idea in there that usually lands. And so with the podcast and doing something like this, I think that would be fun. I just need to get everything set up and trust the process.
Well, and I think a lot of times we're like, oh my gosh, what are people going to say? How is it going to be received? Well, who cares? Because if it helps one person, it helps one person.
Yeah, I've got past the I don't care. It doesn't have to be. Look, one of my favorite to that point, and here's my entrepreneurial mind going. As you notice, I was talking, and then all of a sudden, an idea popped in my head. So one of my favorite phrases, and I really want everyone who's listening and watching this right now. One of my favorite phrases is this: it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And when it comes to podcasting and it comes to video casting, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be.
This podcast is perfect. We never.
It's the same thing with your finances. It's the same thing with your finances too. It doesn't have to be perfect. Stop thinking that. You know what? Stop thinking that it's perfect. If your mindset is that this. Oh my gosh, I've got the greatest budget. You've spent hours upon hours revising and no. Because the minute that life happens and it takes you off that budget, or it takes you away from the track and the behavior that you're trying to change, you're automatically, you've already said, I'm why continue to go any further? It's already failed.
Yeah.
What was the name of when you used to teach that? What'd you call it?
Mine? Oh, it was just budget grocery shopping and meal planning with John. That's it. Just easy.
Maybe I had I've got a GoPro camera. Maybe I ought to just put that on.
You see a camera, brother. The one we're working on. Just set it up. Turn your monitor towards the kitchen and just talk.
You know what? Okay. I'll see what I can come up with. I mean, this is ludicrous. This will be fun. But Jennifer.
Yeah, mine was about a 2-hour class.
Wait, go ahead.
Mine was about a 2-hour class, and we didn't do a lot of leftovers. What we did was planovers, which is where you take like the chicken and you make it into chicken pot pie or chicken over rice. Or if I made brisket, I would turn around and make it into brisket quesadillas another day that week or later.
Yeah, I switched my diet obviously because of my medical emergency last year. So I'm a plant-based. I eat everything is plant-based for me for the most part. Low sodium, plant-based diet. Believe it or not, I've lost about 26 pounds since August of last year, just by changing my diet. And I go for walks.
Well, plant-based, but you'll eat hamburgers and stuff still, right?
Yeah, I will. I mean, I'm not completely, I'm not a vegan or anything like that. But
this plant is the core.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, I hold my red meat to a pound of red meat per week. That's so. Then a lot of times what I'll do is, if I want to reward myself, I won't eat any red meat for the week, and then I'll go out on a Saturday night instead of making a recipe and have a steak.
Yeah.
So
do you do casseroles?
I have done some casseroles.
Is it really when you're single?
Well, being single, okay, so that's hard to cook for, and that's why.
You want me to tell you how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So go to Goodwill and get some mini loaf pans.
Okay.
Preferably individual ones. Okay. But if you don't get individual ones, then and then parchment paper. So if your recipe is for an 8x8 casserole, you're going to put a fourth of it in each of those mini loaf pans.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then you're going to cook one in an oval casserole dish. It doesn't matter. The one you're cooking that night goes in the oval casserole dish. And then the other ones, you make them all up and you put them in the freezer overnight with the parchment paper underneath them. You freeze them, and then you take them out and you put them in a Ziploc bag with the parchment paper in them. And then when you're ready to have one, you take it and you put it into that bread loaf pan and you bake it that night. If you're a family of 2, you're going to do it in 2 bread pans, or 1 bread pan and 1 oval that you're using that day. And then if you're a family of, 4 to 6, and you can do an 8x8 because you're having a side dish with it, then you're going to make 2 casseroles on the day that you make it. So you have 1 frozen complete meal. That's a lazy night. You just pop it out and put it in the same pan you froze it in.
Yep. So I like that idea. In fact, you just go to Dollar General and pick up some small mini loaf pans, and for single size servings, and start using those. One of the things that I'd really like to get into over the summertime is my slow cooker. I have I think it's an 8-quart slow cooker. That's huge.
Yeah.
I need to
I
get
have a 4 in it too also.
Yeah. So I think a 4.5 quart slow cooker, and if you can send me something like that, your recommendation, Jennifer, I think it's Crocker. And I think a 4.5 quart slow cooker would be a good idea. And that could be used to cook all kinds of stuff that I have an air fryer. I did buy a really good air fryer. My air fryer I love that thing. I hardly ever cook meals inside an oven.
So when you get your 4.5 crock pot and you're going to do a roast one night, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have more roast. And roast is one of those things that, I'm having that left over. It's fantastic. But let's say that you don't want to, and you've done roast with some potatoes, and you only put enough potatoes in it for that night, right? But then the next night you can do it over noodles and put in a little bit of sour cream into the broth. And now you've got like a beef stroganoff. So it's a little bit different. The other thing that I do with my roast leftovers, I love vegetable soup. But again, if you're making chicken, put in an extra chicken breast.
Yeah.
So turn it into a quesadilla or a chicken salad or chicken on a salad or whatever.
My primary protein is seafood, turkey, and chicken. Those 3 I rotate because of my medical. So those are my primary meats or proteins. And like I said, about a pound of red meat per week. So last night I have learned how to make a Tuscany sauce, which is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And so I made 2 salmon fillets with the Tuscany cream sauce over rice with broccoli and salad, and it was glorious. I made an extra one, because today's Friday, and Friday for me is Lenten, and so I'll eat salmon, that extra patty tonight.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, we've turned this into a cooking show, but a lot of budgeting.
I've got a surprise coming up.
Huh?
Lance has been sitting on.
I got a surprise.
What is it? Come on.
I'm almost done with it, but keep going. We'll keep going.
Okay. But a lot of your budgeting is meals and not getting waylaid by that, and really being a savvy grocery shopper. And when I used to go through the grocery store, I knew how much things were going to cost when I got to the store because I shopped there frequently. So like once I've done my meal plans, if I needed like 8 pounds of ground beef for the week, and I'd be like, okay, and it's running at about $2.50. So whatever the history major math is on that. And I'd write down $30 or whatever it is beside the ground beef that I needed. And then I needed 2 gallons of milk, and those were like $2.75 each. So I'd write $5.50, and I'd make sure I was within my budget. But at the top of my grocery list, and then I'd write like S and W if I was going to Sam's or Walmart or Costco or whatever store I was planning to go to. And some of the things, if I thought I might get a good deal at the big box store, I'd put it there. But if it wasn't as great a deal, then I'd move it, because I always went to the smaller store second. So then at the top of my thing, I had a hash mark and it said plus and minus. So, and I might have shared this before, as I'm going through the store, and if I had put $30 down for the hamburger and it only ends up being $25, then I would write on the negative side $5.
Right.
So then if I came up on Oreos and they were on sale for $2.50, I could, if I wanted to, either save the money because I've saved $5, or I could net out at the same amount and buy $2.50 for that. Or you said you like frozen fruit. If fruit's starting to go bad, berries, I freeze them on a jelly roll sheet just for, hour till they're solid. And then I throw them down in a Ziploc bag. So if I'm going through and I'm under $5 and yogurt wasn't on the list, I'll buy yogurt.
Yeah.
And then I can make smoothies for the kids that day. If yogurt's starting to go bad and you haven't used it all up, you're going to put it down in ice cube trays and you're going to freeze cubes of yogurt.
Oh, that's
and once they're frozen, you pop them into a big Ziploc bag. And then when you want a smoothie, because you have some berries and you have some yogurt, you just throw that together and you're not wasting these things.
So one of the things, I know Lance is working on something, and I think he may have it ready. But what I want to do is give some people that are listening to this and through this discussion some help. If any of this has resonated with those of you that are listening right now, here's a suggestion. Sit down and learn how to meal plan 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just start with 2 weeks, okay? Meal plan out 2 weeks. Get to know those recipes, and secondly, after you've sat down and you've picked out your 2 weeks, lean into the recipes that you know how to do very well. That's a great way to start the momentum. Lean into the things. Then over a course of time, slowly increase that to those recipes to include your variety. Finally, number 3, have a backup plan if something goes wrong.
Yep.
If you try to cook something and you're doing it for the first or 1 or 2 times, have a go. I'm going to tell you straight up.
Butter jelly time. Butter jelly.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you straight up. My go-to meal, spaghetti.
Oh yeah.
Spaghetti and turkey sauce. Very easy. I can throw that together if something doesn't go right.
Yeah.
So have a backup plan. Those are the 3 items. Lance, I think you're ready for something.
I'm 30 seconds away, so.
Okay. Yeah.
Here it is. So Jennifer, I created a logo for you too. This is our assignment for the week, and this turned into. And this is fun because this is what people watch us for. They're getting great information from us, but they also know that people and that we're interested. So Jennifer.
Yep.
May I introduce? And I'm just playing with the name.
Yeah.
And you're buying time for the 30 seconds.
Where is it? Wait,
yeah.
I gotta stop one screen and add another. That's how I do it. Here we go. Share screen. Share screen.
I'm not seeing it.
No.
He's loading it.
Oh. Yeah, Jennifer, you and I probably ought to talk off podcast and see what we can figure out. I'd love to pick your brain on some other ideas. I'm really looking for lunch ideas.
Yes. The skillet with Jen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's funny.
That is fantastic. That's a great. Yeah. Throw it up there, Lance.
Oh, I was thinking of. I don't have it saved yet, but I will get it. I will get it saved.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I can remove it, but I had some. I'd gone to chat and I was like, come up with some great names. So Pennies and Pans with Jen.
Yeah.
Jen's Sensible Suppers. Dinners and Dollars.
Yeah.
But what fun. And both of you are, honestly, I mean, it's something I know Jennifer loves it. And just listening to you, Mark, you love it too. So why not?
I'm passionate about it. But that's also really going back to the earlier in the conversation. I just, if anyone's listening to this right now and you're wanting to, you're struggling or you're not sure You don't want to be where you're at. And you want to change.
Yeah.
I really want you to sit down and find out what is most important to you.
Yeah.
And that when you find out, when you verbalize that, you write it down, write a purpose statement of what is important to you. That is your ammunition to curbing the peer pressure and curbing the inflow of external items that can take you off your path, because it's your purpose statement. If someone, I'm going to take a few minutes. I had some friends that during my debt journey that wanted me to go on a 7-day Southern Caribbean cruise. I was a year and a half into my journey. These are people that friends. We're going to get a guys trip. Okay, 7 days. And so I got the phone call. Hey, Mark, we really want you to go with us. Let's make it a guys trip, and it'll be phenomenal. Blah blah blah, and we'll do a guys trip. And so I was like, what's going on? And long story short, those two went on the Caribbean cruise. I did not go. And what I found out was they wanted me to go because it added an extra discount for them.
There you go.
And I asked them, hey, before you go, before they left, call me while you're in port, each one of the ports. I'd love to celebrate with you guys. But I told them no. And the reason why I told them no was because my mission was to get out of debt, not to spend money going on. That was the thing that was most important to me. If finding the right house is the most important thing to you, write that as a purpose statement down, and that gives you the ammunition for someone coming in and saying, hey, let's go get an investment house over here. Let's partner up. No, I'm sorry. That's not right now.
Or even let's just go out for dinner, because sometimes that can be enough. Now, let me ask you a question, Mark. What year was that?
Oh my gosh, 2018.
Have you been on a vacation since then?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Was it a good vacation?
I am not shy.
Was it a stress-free vacation?
I'll just take a few minutes, because I think people will be interested in this.
Wait, no, Mark, was it stress-free?
It was hugely stress-free.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So my journey was 63 months of $5,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. That's $315,000. I worked multiple jobs. I told people no. That's the depth of how important this thing was to me. If you do not have the depth of the thing that is most important to you, if you don't have that depth, you're probably going to fumble your way through this until you finally reach that point of, I'm sick of dealing with this and I need to go attack it. Here's how I celebrate it. I felt like if I could spend $5,000 a month on my debt, I took $5,000 worth of cash, and man, did I ever have so much fun.
Yeah.
Because you know what? That was my celebration.
Yeah.
If I could spend $5,000 towards my debt, the following month after I built my emergency fund, I took $5,000, which was an additional 3 months. I took $5,000, and Jennifer, I had so much fun with it. I mean, I've also donated.
Mm-hmm.
I also one of the things that I think is important to me is I have a soft heart for single moms.
Mm-hmm.
I could spend hours on this, but I think single moms have it. That's where I'd like to contribute. So.
Mm-hmm.
Handing over, money to help people pay their lights and energy bills just for a month is a godsend to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've also looked for ways, when there's opportunities to give money. For example, after church one Sunday, I went to Walmart. There was a couple in front of me that had $35 worth of lunch meat that they didn't have the money for, and they were having to remove the cashier was having to remove it. I stepped in and I said, you know what? Don't do that. I'll pay for it. And these are this is the power of having your money working for you to impact others, impact your family, impact you, build wealth. But it all starts with, and then I'll shut up because I'm talking a lot.
No, you're good.
All of this was possible because I found out what was the most important thing to me. And that that may not be the most important thing to other people. Once I found out what was the most important thing to me, it was easy for me to say no.
I think even more than finding out, because sometimes we know what the most important thing is, but we haven't prioritized it. And really, that's what you did. You made it the priority that emotionally or mentally it should have been.
Exactly. You added the element that fits underneath the important thing. I prioritized that over everything else. It was the most important thing to me, and I prioritized it over everything else. Yeah. Just like my relationship in my faith is the most important thing to me.
Yeah, and that is a really good place to stop for the day since we're at 51.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be a bunch of awesome AI today.
Yeah.
Great.